review.
Hey there, it's Senior Editor Kevin Van Ord standing in for reviewer Daniel Starkey to tell you about Ride to Hell: Retribution. Within the first few minutes of Ride to Hell: Retribution, you are introduced to the shootouts, fistfights, and QuickTime events that constitute every major element of its gameplay. And all of it is aggressively horrid. This action game has almost no redeemable characteristics and is a strong candidate for the title of worst game of all time. Ride to Hell is set in the late 1960s and ostensibly built around the exploration of the post-traumatic stress disorder that followed more than a few soldiers back home after the Vietnam War. The setting is fresh, but any optimism quickly wears off as the complete disregard for anything even remotely resembling fun becomes apparent. The protagonist of this torture software is Jake Conway, a Vietnam vet looking to return to a nice, calm life. Sadly, this tale devolves into a laughable melodrama, and any attempts at maturity morph into poorly written emotional manipulation. The story embraces a stunningly out-of-touch and juvenile approach to sex, violence, and masculinity, and every awful innuendo, hackneyed self-reference, and facsimile of human emotion is drenched in ear-bleedingly bad voice acting.
Last time I seen the big guy, he was going to the motel for some action. It was across the street behind the bar.
Thanks, man. See you around.
Oh, Suki. Oh, wow.
At least some of these crimes against conscious thought might find forgiveness if Ride to Hell was playable. But technical problems are everywhere. Crashes, graphical bugs, and audio failures are constant. Sometimes enemies will appear and then die for no apparent reason. Timed missions sometimes randomly end 30 seconds or more early, and your survival seems randomly determined. You exist at the whim of some of the buggiest software ever released. Beyond the technical problems, most of the controls are woefully positioned with almost no regard for what would actually make sense, and you can't remap the keys. And in some cases, keys are bound to functions that aren't ever labeled. Gunplay is actually functional in the sense that the targeting reticle moves and you can click the mouse button to make people die. But that reticle has an agonizing amount of lag that makes it easy to miss shots. Luckily, your foes will have just as much trouble hitting you if they actually do anything at all. Melee combat is based on QuickTime events and is far worse. There are no combos and there's no sense of progression. You just hit the right key at the right time and things happen. Fighting rival bikers atop a motorcycle works the same way, though in this case, enemies rush in from nowhere and lock you into battle, then randomly fly off and explode on their own. Seriously, they just rush in and then die, often without you having to do anything at all. Ride to Hell: Retribution is a painful, shallow, broken experience. How such an abysmal game can see the light of day is a mystery. All anyone can do is marvel at this train wreck and wonder about the circumstances that led anyone to believe that it was okay to ask people to spend money or time on this trash.
They're crazy.
Mac, you there?
Jake, what's the situation?
I found Anvil.
Guns, huh? You need to talk to Tyrell Jones at the Army base. He's a good friend. Jake, I don't think you should do this alone. I'll meet you at the brewery.